Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday. It is October 5th, 2021. Tonight is the first preseason game for the New York Knicks of the 2021-2022 season. Exciting night, exciting day it is. I hope you're all COVID-free and healthy today. I hope your households and the needs of your households in terms of food and shelter as well as clothing and health are being met. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field trying to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean. Blessings upon those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on those trying to deliver, boys and girls, men and women, children, toddlers, teenagers, and adults from prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, sex slavery, pedophilia, child molestation, child pornography, and forced adult pornography. Curses upon those that support these human mind and human body destroying agencies. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. 600,000 men, women, children, and families in the United States without a roof over their head, and millions around the world in places like the Philippines, in places like Haiti and Afghanistan, in similar situations or worse. Blessings upon those, for theirs is the kingdom, and on those that are trying to help as well. Well, brethren in New York Knicks Nation, today is the beginning of the season in terms of preseason, but the beginning of playing basketball again with the New York Knicks. Today I want to discuss the importance of the Knicks bench and what it means going forward. Several moving parts here that are kind of complicated. So let's start with the basics. Last year, the Knicks averaged 107 points per game. The Knicks gave up 105. I'm giving approximations, about 105 points a game. So there was about a 2-point differential. Now, generally speaking, if you were to look at the top teams in both conferences and the overall top teams, they are pretty much following the plus minus. So, for example, in terms of regular season. So, in terms of example, your Utah Jazz was a plus minus of 9, and they were number 1 in the league in that department. And of course, they were top 3 or whatever in the West. And it goes all the way down. You get to your 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th seed. You're going to see a plus or minus 2-point differential, give or take, right? So generally speaking, that tells a lot about where a team is going to end up, in terms of the standings. And so I'm very excited about the Knicks, cautiously so, but because of all the things that we're seeing in terms of what we can expect. So they scored 107 last year, gave up 105. Now, the interesting thing, the starting unit last year, R.J. Barrett, for most of the year, R.J. Barrett, Reggie Bullock, Nerlens Noel, Elfrid Payton, Julius Randle, they played a total of 542 minutes together, and they were negative 5 points. Okay? The bench unit that played the most minutes together included RJ, which was still a starter, but you know how Tom Thibodeau rolls. Reggie Bullock, you had Nerlens Noel, Julius Randle, D. Rose. Then you had, now that was not really the bench. The real bench unit was Alec Burks, Taj Gibson, Emmanuel Quickly, D. Rose, and Obi Toppin. Now that bench unit played 139 minutes together last year. They were plus 18. And that's the same bench unit you got this year. Okay, that's the same bench unit you got this year. The only difference is you're probably going to have Noah instead of Taj, but it doesn't matter. And you switch out Mitchell Robinson. Now, when you have lineups with Mitchell Robinson in them and Payton, the numbers don't look too good. But you take Payton out of any lineup, and I'm not trying to dish on Payton. This is just the stats. You take Payton out of any lineup, and the numbers all look better right away. Okay, so the starters last year for the Knicks averaged approximately 70 points a game. Now, that was with Bullock only scoring 10 points a game. Payton scoring 10 points a game. Mitchell Robinson scored 8 when he was starting. And then later, Nerlens Noel only scored like 5 or 6 when he started. Okay. So then you had RJ getting 18 and 24 for Julius. Of course, we're upgrading. So we have Evan Fournier. Now, Evan Fournier is generally like a 16 point a game career scorer, but last year on the Celtics, which gives you a better indication of what he would do with the Knicks because of the Celtics had two stud scorers in Tatum and Brown, as well as having Kemba on their team. And so Evan averaged about 13 a game. So I'm expecting, because of the fact that you're going to have a center that doesn't need touches, you're probably going to get around 14 or 15 points a game from Evan Fournier. He shot over 40%. I think it was like something like 46% from three last year. And he's going to get those threes on the Knicks this year. Kemba averaged 19 in Boston, and I'm expecting him to be 18 or 19 this year. I think RJ is going to increase his scoring only because he's a natural scorer, and he just finds a way to get buckets. Last year, he got 18 a game, and it wasn't the focal point of the offense. I don't think he's going to be this year either, although I have to say they'll probably call more plays for him, as he's going to probably take that next step in his maturation. So I'm expecting around 20, 21 a game from RJ. I'm expecting Julius maybe to pull back a bit because he's sharing the ball, so he might go from 24 to like 22. So overall, when you're looking at that, I'm looking for the Knicks starting unit to put together something closer to 80 points a game versus the 70 they put together this past season. I think that's reasonable. The bench last year scored about 39 points a game. Okay, they scored about 39 points a game. So it was the bench scored probably last year, 37 points a game. So it was probably like 70 points from the starters and 37 from the bench. I'm expecting the bench to improve slightly, to probably go to like 38 points a game, 39 points a game. So now you add that all up, and you're dealing with somewhere around 118 points a game. Okay? Now, let's assume for the sake of argument, the Knicks are not going to quite be as good this year on defense as they were last year when they gave up only 105 points a game. Let's assume this year they might give up 110 points a game. I think that's reasonable. I think they'll probably be better than that, but I'm trying to be conservative. So let's say they give up 110 points a game. That makes their differential somewhere around 8. Now, the Jazz led the league last year at 9. It gives you an indication of the potential the Knicks have this year. Okay, and if you have a healthy Mitchell Robinson, this might be something, y'all. We might have something here. Now, the bench, if the Knicks are scoring 40 points a game off their bench, and oftentimes last year they did. And the thing is that, as I showed you, and I get my stats off basketballreference.com. So the 5-man rotations, the 5-man combination that included Elfrid Payton, -5. Okay, -5. And pretty much every combination that included Elfrid Payton was the highest one was 1. +1. That's the highest one. That's when he played with Barrett, Bullock, Payton, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson. Okay. Again, Payton was really the weak link. I think we could all agree last year. And so you're getting a major upgrade with Kemba Walker. And even if Kemba, for some reason, his knees give out and he can't go, IQ is very capable. And I'm very, and again, that lineup with IQ, D Rose, Obi Toppin, Taj Gibson, and Alec Burks was +18. That was +18 last year. So, yeah, they're going to be, I think they're going to be really good. So you're going to have a repeat of that this year. I'm pretty confident in that. So with that being the case, and the Knicks, and so somebody come up with some silly stuff talking about the Detroit Pistons had a good bench and they lost. Let me explain something. When you're talking about the importance of a bench, you have to make a certain assumption, a very important assumption. The bench becomes more important when your starters are playoff caliber. Let me say that again. So you have to look at the importance of the bench when your starters are playoff caliber. So, for example, Minnesota Timberwolves play no defense. I don't care what kind of bench they had. Their starters wasn't playoff caliber. And of course, Detroit last year was lottery bound, right? They ended up with the number 1 pick because they stunk. So D Rose might have been on their bench last year, but their starters stunk. Okay? The Knicks starters are playoff caliber. All right? That's why the bench becomes more important. Because if your bench is giving you a +18, Okay. And now you go on your starters from a -5. Let's say the starters they're going to improve. I mean, that's going to be better than -5. You're not dealing with Alpha Payton this year. So you're going to get, I want to say at least +5, +6 from your starters. Okay. So now instead of the bench having to play come from behind, which we often did last year, they're going to come in going against second units and already have played together for a season, right? And they were +18 the season they played together. And now they're coming together for the second year. Don't tell me you don't think Obi Toppin's going to get better this year. Don't tell me IQ's not better this year. Alec Burks going to be Alec Burks, just like he was last year. And he was hurt a lot last year. But Alec Burks going to do his thing. Taj is going to be Taj. Nerlens is going to be Nerlens. But you're going to get an improved Obi Toppin and an improved IQ. The two kids are going to get better. When you have that, then you got behind them Deuce. And you got Quentin. And you got, apparently now, we know the Knicks have waived Vildoza. No surprise there. Only people surprised that Vildoza didn't make it. Those poor deluded souls that actually thought he could be a real NBA starter. You know, some of y'all was just tripping when they got Vildoza. And I guess that goes with Knick Nation, but your boy wasn't. Okay, we know that from the beginning. I was telling y'all, stop getting hyped on this kid. But, and I told you, that Florida State dude, Dwayne Bacon, well, apparently, I read today, they thinking about, signing him to the regular roster. Like, he's going to make the 15. Watch Dwayne Bacon. Now, he's not a shooter. Dwayne Bacon's not a shooter, but he's a defender and he's a slasher. Okay? Coming off the bench. Now, you got him behind the squad that we already got with Quentin Grimes. It's exciting. I'm trying to contain myself because I'm seeing really good things here. So even if Kemba can't play, even if he hurts himself and he's only part-time, I'm very confident IQ. You replace IQ in the second unit with Deuce McBride and we just keep rolling. The Knicks bench is going to be a strength this year. So that anytime you get faltering on the offense, that bench is solid. It's consistent. It's 40 points a game. Okay. So anytime you can get 40 points a game off your bench and you're a playoff team, you're dangerous. Very dangerous. Okay. Because now they got a game plan. Your opponent has the game plan, not only for the starters. Last year, basically they game plan for Julius Randle. They game plan for Bullock, which the plan was to put Trae Young on him because he wasn't going to go off the dribble. And they game plan for RJ. They ain't have to game plan for Peyton. And D Rose would have given them fits, but he was tired. He was wore down by the time, plus between the COVID and his age, wore down. And then of course Nerlens played good defense, but he wasn't Clint Capella, whereas Mitchell Robinson is. Okay. In fact, in the playoffs, I dare say Taj Gibson played better in the playoffs. Okay. So this year we got Taj, we got Nerlens on the bench, and we got Mitchell Robinson. A healthy Mitchell Robinson, as I keep saying to y'all, a healthy Mitchell Robinson makes us top 3 in the East. And look at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers. So I'm not even saying Randall gonna get 24 a game this year. Let's say he get 22. Randall is a 2010 guy. So let's say he get 22. RJ got 18 last year, 14 the year before. He's going to continue to develop 20 a game from RJ. Okay. Evan's going to do Evan. I'm looking at 13 to 15 a game from Evan Fournier. Kemba on a bad year last year, 19 a game. He's a career 20 something point scorer. So let's give him 18, 19. Okay. We're talking about 80 points from the starters. Average. And don't let somebody get hot. Okay. So that's what we're dealing with. And then, of course, like I said, the bench becomes extremely important because not only that, any of those starters needs a break, gets hurt, sprains an ankle. And all those things happen in the 82 game season. Somebody going to sprain an ankle. Somebody going to, pull a hamstring, pull a muscle, hurt a neck. Something's going to happen and they're going to have to sit a couple of games. That happens every season. Everybody deals with it. You got guys that can step right in and we keep flowing. That's the beauty of the power of the bench that we have. You got D Rose can step right in. IQ can step right in. Alec Burks we know can step in. Okay. We got Taj. We got Nerlens. All of these guys can step right into the starting lineup. Nerlens has already shown he can play with the starters. Okay. Matter of fact, when you look at Nerlens, RJ Bullock, and D Rose, like I said, that was plus 12. That was plus 12. Okay. So I'm trying to contain myself, but I really do want, let ESPN and Las Vegas and all the haters talk their mess. We really are. When they said we really are, we here. And when the Knicks break out, and I'm kind of concerned now. Yes, last night I didn't see the game, but I heard Trae Young got hurt. I don't know how bad the injury is, but I heard he got hurt last night. I heard he got hurt. Yeah, and in the preseason game, the first preseason game, right quad contusion. So hopefully it's not serious. I want us to beat the Leprechaun and them at full strength. So hopefully, it's not serious. But see, that's what I'm saying. We don't want our guys getting hurt in preseason. Okay. Worst thing I remember was we traded all our good players and draft picks for Antonio McDyess, and in the preseason, snapped his kneecap, and that was the end of McDyess. We don't want that. So only thing that can stop the Knicks this year is injuries. And so this is where Tom Thibodeau's conditioning program kicks in, because it really, even though people complain about him running people into the ground, his players come in conditioned, and being in great condition really is a large part of preventing injury. Being in really top condition is a large part of preventing injury. So that's a good thing. And so again, I'm excited. So the bench is a solid, consistent piece. We got the same bench guys that are used to each other. And then, of course, the starters have been upgraded. And so we're going to get more scoring out the starters. We'll probably lose a little bit on defense, but it ain't going to be no train wreck. I'm thinking, like I said, and I'm giving them, we only gave up 105 points a game last year, number one in the NBA. But I'm thinking 110, right? I'm going to give it 110. Even if you want to say 112, I'm still thinking the starters are going to, between the starters rolling the way they rolling, we still going to score 118, 119 points a game. We're going to be a high scoring team. Tom Thibodeau already talked about putting up 40 threes a game. Okay. And more ball movement. Last year, we were near the bottom of the league in assists, as a team. Wasn't really good in assists last year. But if we can get up in those numbers in the 30s, 30 assists a game, 43s a game, and guys doing what they do in terms of their career averages, what you expect, we're going to be a really good offensive team. And if we bring that defense anywhere near, and I'm still thinking about 110, we're going to be really good this year. Really good this year. We're going to scare people this year. And then, of course, that bench is hard to game plan for the bench. Who you going to game plan for? Obi? D Rose? IQ? Who you game planning for? Because they all coming at you. See? So I'm really excited about this. Yeah, I can't wait to see the game tonight. I want to see our man Kev Knox get some time in the preseason. Let him come and bring the noise, and hopefully, make some splash this year and see what he could do. I'm really rooting for Kev. And so let's see what he do. And I'm loving our team. I mean, add a boy like Dwayne Bacon, and y'all have to know Raw Hebrew loves anybody coming out of Leonard Hamilton's program, because Leonard Hamilton know how to train some players. So they coming out of the Florida State program where my man Leonard Hamilton at. I'm all in. And so here we got one of them. Yeah, I like where we at. So we'll review the game tomorrow. After the game, we'll talk about that and see where we at by the grace of the Most High. And y'all, please enjoy yourselves tonight. Let's all enjoy the game. Have a really safe and wonderful and blessed day. Shalom.